if I didn't have Chip Gaines in my life, I'd still be dreaming in my head, but not acting out on any of that, not living it out.
You push me. You push me out of my comfort zone. I like comfortable. I like predictable. And you push me.
Am I any of those?
No.
Not comfortable or predictable?
You're comfortable in that you're consistent in just who you are as Chip.
Chip and Joanna Gaines are one of the most beloved couples on home renovation TV. They have opposite personalities that complement each other. She's the more cautious one and he's the more daring one. He encourages her to go for her dreams and she makes sure they're doable. Together, they managed to become design moguls. They started with a small business called Magnolia Market, then became superstars when their show Fixer Upper began. They've dealt with controversies, rumors, and fights, but they've always stayed together. Keep watching to learn the truth about Chip and Joanna's marriage. Love at first sight? Chip saw Joanna in a commercial for her father's auto shop in Waco, Texas. He was immediately smitten and started hanging out there as much as possible. She jokes that he kept trying to find anything and everything wrong with his car just to have an excuse to see her there. They talked for a week outside the shop before she agreed to go on a date with him. She was actually more interested in his roommate, who they affectionately called Hot John. They explained the story on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, saying,
"He's just sitting there waiting for his tires." So I got the courage to get up out of my office. I walk towards the waiting room, and John and I make eye contact, but I'm not really gifted at making conversation. So I looked at him and I was like, now what? And so instead of going to the waiting room, I walked straight outside, like I was gonna take a smoke break or something. Okay. As I'm walking outside, Chip is coming in to get Hot John, and he intersects.
Inadvertently.
Yes.
Yep. And unlike her, I'm incredible at eye contact. I always have a one-liner planned for any occasion where you might meet one of the most beautiful women on the planet.
It took a while to set up a first date. When they did, Chip was so enamored of her, he couldn't stop talking. Joanna was more into quiet guys. At first, she didn't think Chip was her type. Then she said she heard a voice from somewhere tell her that he was the man she was going to marry. Chip was surprised when she eventually revealed that, partially because of how long it took him to get a second date. Joanna first had to cancel due to a back injury and then kept dodging his calls. She eventually agreed to see him again, and the rest was history. Chip wanted to pop the question a year after they started dating, but he didn't do the typical get down on one knee bit. He took her to a friend's jewelry store and let her design the ring herself. They were married in May 2003. Becoming home makeover moguls. Chip and Joanna have always worked together. They started by opening the Magnolia Market in Waco, Texas on October 16, 2003. They became celebrities when their HGTV reality series Fixer Upper launched in 2013. It showed them fixing up old houses and making them beautiful again. The show ran for 5 seasons and turned the Gaineses into major celebs. They were even invited to attend a White House state dinner. The couple then announced in November 2018 they were leaving the network that had made them megastars. Joanna said,
For sure. 5 seasons in, which really translates to 6 years of being on television or filming on top of our growing family and our business, I think we were just exhausted. And when you start getting in that rhythm of just doing and then you forget the why, which I think by season 5, we were like just showing up. And I felt like inside we were just kind of slowly, it was like, wait, something's not right inside. And so we both knew we need to step back and just kind of evaluate what we're saying yes to and the why. And so we just said for a full year, we're going to not take any call. We're just going to sit back, focus on the business.
After that break, they created the Magnolia brand. It included the Magnolia Journal and Magnolia Network on cable. That afforded them more control over future content. Fans demanded more shows featuring them, and they just kept coming. The Magnolia Network features spin-offs of their original program, including Fixer Upper, Welcome Home, Fixer Upper, The Castle, and Fixer Upper, Hotel. Joanna is also a successful author, so even those who don't watch TV may have heard her words. She's written 7 books, including cookbooks, memoirs, and children's books. Controlling controversy. Becoming major stars made Chip and Joanna's marriage more difficult than most. They were always under scrutiny and had to overcome controversies that surrounded their personal and professional lives. One of the first major controversies they faced came in May 2016. They were reportedly associated with the Antioch Community Church. Its pastor, Jimmy Siebert, allegedly had anti-LGBTQ beliefs. The church's website says that, quote, marriage is the uniting of one man and one woman in covenant commitment for a lifetime. He disputed the claims, but it wasn't enough. Chip and Joanna were also considered guilty by association. The claims grew louder in June of 2021 when they were criticized for never featuring same-sex couples in their series. Chip said he was disturbed by the claims because it's, quote, so far from who we really are. Chip and Joanna have also been to court more than once. One of the earliest instances was in April 2017. They were sued by John L. Lewis and Richard L. Clark, co-founders and former partners of Magnolia Reality. They said Chip bought them out 2 days before Fixer Upper premiered and paid them only $2,500 each for their shares. Chip denied the claims and said he couldn't have known how popular the show would have been regardless. The case was settled out of court 6 years later. Another problem came in June of 2018. The Environmental Protection Agency sued Fixer Upper for violating lead paint safety rules. They didn't get the proper certification, hire certified renovators, provide safety pamphlets to homeowners, or post warning signs. Chip and Joanna agreed to pay the $40,000 fine. Magnolia Homes spent $160,000 to decrease lead-based paint hazards in Waco, Texas. They also created a video to educate others about the dangers. Chip and Joanna were guilty by association again in May of 2021. They donated money to a campaign for his sister, Braun. She was running for a local school board in Texas. The issue was that she also allegedly opposed the teaching of critical race theory in schools. The popularity of Fixer Upper has also had negative effects. It caused rising prices and tax hikes in Waco and have forced residents out of their homes. Raising kids. The oldest Gaines kid, Drake, recently went off to college. Saying goodbye to him was both joyful and painful. Joanna still catches herself forgetting he's not home at times. They also have daughters Ella and Emmy and sons Duke and Crew at home, so they're not empty nesters just yet. Having one son move out made her treasure the moments with her other children more because it makes her realize how quickly they can end. Chip has always insisted that the kids find their own identity as more than the children of celebrity. He wants them to go out, finish college, learn as much as they can, and then come back to teach their parents something new. Joanna also works to help them maintain their innocence while they can. Overcoming adversity and embracing change. Controversies have made Chip and Joanna's marriage more difficult, but that wasn't their only struggles. They admit they faced major adversities in their early years. Working together and raising a family without going at each other's throats could be harder than it seemed. The line between business and marriage even blurred from time to time. Joanna says that was in large part because they each had a strong sense of self before getting married. They knew who they were as individuals and could grow together. This has partially meant becoming even more like each other, or as Chip puts it, evolving into each other. He's encouraged Joanna to embrace change the way he does. She's learned to face lifelong fears and take up new hobbies of horseback riding and beekeeping. She's also trying to be more in the moment and accepting of her emotions, even when they bring her to tears. She cries easily, whether it's because of her children or a new house, but she's begun to realize that's not always a bad thing. Chip has also changed and started to take things easier. He hopes to be Joanna's cheerleader, saying,
As I really enveloped this concept of I'm going to support her and love her and fight for her regardless, I feel like that opened your heart to be able to reciprocate.
The couple's 20th anniversary made Chip realize how much their life and relationship has changed over the years. He wrote about it in a touching letter in the Magnolia Journal. He also squashed any rumors of them ever splitting up. He said that in their business and relationship, they're not quitters. He also reiterated that, quote, the one thing that didn't change was the promise Joe and I made to each other at the altar in front of our family and friends. They asked if we'd stick it out through thick and thin. We said yes, and we meant it. We still do. Now it's time to hear from you. Who's your favorite home design show team? Let us know in the comments section below.